The demonic voice.
Double points.
The announcer.
The fire of Ra has been claimed.
Whatever you want to call it, the voice that announces things like drops and events in the maps is an iconic part of Zombies. Almost every map has one, and while there is a debate on who the actual entity on certain maps is, one thing is certain. The demon announcer is an important facet of the game mode. But which is my favorite? What voice do I like hearing most? Which is music to the ears? Well, I'll tell you which isn't, and that's the Exo-Zombies announcer.
Multiplier activated.
It's just a woman doing a generic AI voice, blandly announcing the power-ups and when power gets turned off.
Door open. Hyper damage activated.
Or when an area gets gassed. No question. That's the worst, in my opinion. You know what else I don't like? A silly, indiscernible accent that I can't pin down. I really hate the Forsaken in Cold War. The voice is just goofy to me, and it always takes me out of every moment. It just feels like someone putting on an accent and trying to have a deep voice, but just failing completely. Now, this is a funny one. Elvira from Attack of the Radioactive Thing.
How about a little color, my darling?
About halfway into the map, she sort of takes over as the announcer from Willard.
Watch out, guys and ghouls. This film is as full of crabs as little Willie's last STD examination.
And announces everything in an overly comical, sensual way.
Insta-kill.
Which then leads to Willard yelling and getting angry at her.
Either shut your trap, or I'll have someone rip out your jugular and shut it for you. Not that that wasn't going to happen anyway.
I don't hate this. It's more played for laughs than anything, but if you're not really in the mood, it can get kinda old. You know what was always weird to me? Whispery Samantha on Origins.
Zombie blood.
I remember when the original trailer for Origins dropped, and everybody complained how Samantha sounded like a 40-year-old chain smoker.
It began long ago, on the battlefields of the Great War.
So they then re-released the trailer with some added lines and without the whisper filter they put on the actress.
As an ancient evil ravaged the front lines, the hopes of the Allies rested on 3 soldiers sent to stop it.
Which leads me to believe that originally all of Samantha's lines were meant to sound like this.
Insta-kill.
Particularly when she's directly talking to the characters.
Can you hear me? Please, you have to help me. I'm trapped here. I just want to go home.
But they changed it before release, which is for the better, because that whisper chain-smoking voice would get really grating if you had to hear it recite all the lines.
What they could never have imagined was just what else their research would unearth.
Next is Richtofen from Moon. Yes, you see, in Moon, when Eddie takes over the MPD and controls the zombies, he has slightly different lines to what he would later have in BO2.
Fetch me their swords!
Which, I'm going to be honest, he greatly improved his delivery for all the lines in that game.
Kaboom!
Which I guess makes sense in context. He just got control of the ether, so he'd be new to announcing all of what's going on.
Enjoy your present!
The OG announcer is always a pleasure to listen to.
Max ammo.
But sometimes it can get a little inconsistent. Some maps change the pitch slightly, some make the lines sped up.
Kaboom. Kaboom.
We know that it's Samantha corrupted by the ether, but at times it's a little unclear as to who is doing the actual voice recordings for a lot of these lines.
Insta-kill.
But the laugh is iconic. And the punchy nature of double points is always a good thing to hear.
Double points.
Now, if you have an actor who doesn't naturally have a deep voice, what do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you don't do, and that's tell him to put on some cringy fake deep voice, because that would sound absolutely forced. No. What you do is what Infinity Ward did with Willard Wyler, is layer a second, more demonic sounding voice over the natural voice.
Looks like our lovely guests are hungry. And you're the ones on the menu!
This gives a nice effect where the darker demon voice seeps into the dialogue during certain and correct parts of the sentence.
Amuse yourself while you can, my dear. You'll all be bottom feeder bait momentarily.
Paul Reubens put so much personality into the character of Willard. He really did direct the hell out of the story just with his presence.
No one asked you to clear the set!
Rest in peace, you absolute Chad. You were one fantastic performer.
Get ready for a surprise!
You know who else owned their role? Nolan North. Owned the role of Rick Toffin in Black Ops 2. His line reads are both hilarious and memorable.
Excuse me. Just get used to the ether. It is half a good surprise. Right.
Despite not playing as Ultimus, it still feels like their presence is here just because of Nolan as the announcer.
Blah, blah, blah. Vodka, vodka, blah, blah.
I think I'm starting to miss that drunk.
He has so much fun with these lines, and I do enjoy his insult and jokes that he does, mostly at Stuhlinger's expense.
Oh, look! You got the Wunderwaffe DG2! Just kidding!
Now, let's talk about a standout. Avogadro is the announcer on only one single map, but the actor does such an amazing job with it all. From the fantastic laugh and chuckle when the box leaves,
I didn't survive the apocalypse to be laughed at by a footlocker.
to the way he delivers double points, he really delivers double points, I tell you.
Double points. Full power.
And the fantastic monologue he has right before the boss fight, Avocado is one of the best.
If you must call me something before I destroy you all, call me Avogadro.
His voice has this constant hazy digital effect to it, which fits with his character so well because he's a man made of pure electricity.
Carpenter.
But there's one, just one announcer that I think is better and takes the cake. Cortifex is the best thing about Vanguard.
Fetch me their souls.
Not just his character design, but that voice.
Insta-kill.
Oh my god, that voice.
Max ammo.
If I were to take a guess, this is what the devil would sound like.
What have you done to my Void Eater? You will die for this.
Every word spoken by this man is pure sex to the ears.
Someone's been naughty this year.
He doesn't have the deepest voice in terms of baritone, but the grit that he has is unmatched.
Push them back, my puppets. Kill these upstarts.
I don't know what level of filters and distortion they put on the actor's voice, but it's like nothing I've ever heard before.
You test my patience, mortals. Now pay the price.
Every power-up drop is so entertaining to hear because it's clear from the constant threats that Cortifex gives you that he really, truly wants you dead.
Mortal weaklings, feel my wrath.
So every announcement of a drop for the player is delivered with such contempt, it's as if he's brooding at the fact that he has to announce them.
Insta-kill.
Not to mention his dialogue on the Archon, every word out of his mouth is a delight.
No, Professor. You did everything according to my plan. You set me free.
There are also a ton of unused lines in the files for Duran Fong, indicating so much content that was likely cut.
Random perk. Ammo mod. Gun game. Player eliminated. Cranked.
Jason Marnocha absolutely killed this role. And honestly, it's a shame Cortifex is dead because I want to hear this voice more. If any custom map makers for BO3 are watching this, please do your map a favor and put this man's voice in your maps because it is truly gold.
You are on a fool's errand. You'll pay with your lives.